What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our season preview for the Baltimore Ravens. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, with the 2022 NFL season fast approaching, we have another season preview to get to. Today, we're going to be talking about the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are dealing with Lamar Jackson's contract issues at the moment. At the time of this recording, they have offered him a massive contract, and he has basically said, I'm good for right now. We'll see how things play out. So we'll see how the Baltimore Ravens deal with that. But when you take a look at the free agency period, their draft, and kind of what their offseason looked like, you have to look at some of the key players that they were able to bring in. That includes Marcus Williams and Kyle Fuller from free agency. You saw that Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum were drafted to this team. Can't forget about David Ojabo, the big-time edge defender who tore his Achilles when he was training for the draft. Now, these guys, they are going to be difference makers for this team when they are healthy, when they are ready to go. But this team did lose a ton of talent, and when you take a look at some of the players that they lost, obviously Marquise Hollywood Brown being traded to the Arizona Cardinals. We saw players like Sammy Watkins go in free agency to the Green Bay Packers, and the loss of Alejandro Villanueva to top it all off, the big-time left tackle that helped protect Lamar Jackson last year. These are key pieces that are gone from this team, and it is going to be one hell of a journey for them to figure out how to replicate what these guys brought to the table, especially with knowing what the Bengals have to offer this season. Nick, why don't you get us started looking at their season preview, weeks 1 through 6. What do the Baltimore Ravens have on the schedule?
Yeah, so through the first 6 weeks of the season, we have them going 3-3, getting off to a nice start with 2 early victories, 1 big victory in week 2 over the Miami Dolphins. This is a team that Lamar Jackson tends to play very well against, has had very solid games in the past, and I think it's going to be very similar in this matchup. We're going to see the Miami Dolphins make their way to Baltimore, and Lamar Jackson knowing how to take care of this defense. It doesn't matter that he does not have the wide receivers that he had last year. His running backs are fully healthy this year. That offensive line has improved, and they're going to have the ability to throw this new Miami Dolphins team off kilter to start the season. There's a lot of overhaul on that Dolphins team. I don't believe in Tua to get the job done against this defense that Baltimore is supplying. The pass rush is going to improve from last year, and I don't think Miami will be able to handle it. I think this is going to be a key victory for them this season. But going into the next few games, we have a losing streak for the Baltimore Ravens, starting off with the one that kicks it off against the New England Patriots in week 3. Going into New England, tough environment to play in, and Bill Belichick knows Lamar Jackson at this point. Having a few games under his belt understands Lamar Jackson. It has not been the best road for the Patriots thus far, but they have a lot of young talent. They are a much younger team, and they're going to be able to contain Lamar much more than they have in the past with the young linebackers, young edge protectors that they have. That speed is going to come into play, and I believe in Mac Jones, Devontae Parker, all these weapons that the Patriots have to get past them. It's not going to be a good day for the Ravens, and it's not going to be a next good few weeks, but they'll be able to come out in week 6 with another big victory to end the 6-week period 3-3.
Yeah, taking a look at the next 6 weeks, we have a bye week in week 10, but out of these 5 games, they go 3-2, bringing their overall record to 6-5. Obviously, a big victory over the Browns in week 7. Week 8, they run into the buzzsaw that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady gets to say hello to his old favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens, and there is no Ed Reed, there is no Ray Lewis. He is going to tear them apart. In week 9, this is probably one of the biggest victories to date, the New Orleans Saints. The Saints defense is no joke. This Saints offense can definitely put up points, and this is a big test for the Baltimore Ravens heading into this one. I think this is where Lamar Jackson truly shines, as he's going to make off-schedule plays, being able to make things happen when things are not handed to him in the offense that they run. I believe that this will be a massive victory heading into their bye week. Obviously, week 11, the Carolina Panthers are struggling, trying to figure out who's going to play quarterback for them this season, and in week 12, we have a massive upset. The Jacksonville Jaguars getting a victory over the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be one of those games that just flies by on the radar for the Ravens, and this is going to be a reality check for them. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not to be taken lightly. I know that with their history, people are going to dismiss them, but this is a team that vastly improved this offseason through the draft, through free agency. They are pulling out all the stops to be able to compete in their very weak division this year, and the Baltimore Ravens coming to Duval County is going to be no easy feat. I fully believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars could take on the Baltimore Ravens and win in week 12.
Well, that's a tough loss in week 12, but going over the last 6 weeks of the season, going 4-2 to end 10-7 overall in the season. Starting off in week 13, a big game against the Denver Broncos led by Russell Wilson. This is going to be a very tough matchup. You've got a much improved Denver Broncos team that is tough on both sides of the ball now, and this is going to be a big game for the Ravens to prove that they are still in it. They are competing in their division and in the AFC for a playoff spot, and they're here to play. They get a big victory in week 13. And then going into weeks 14 and 15, the Baltimore Ravens losing 2 divisional matchups. Very big losses at this point in the season, and to teams that you really would expect them to be better than. Luckily, they're able to follow that up on a 3-game win streak to end the season, and especially against the Cincinnati Bengals in week 18. Now, most likely, the Cincinnati Bengals will be resting most of their starters going into the playoffs, but this is still a good opportunity for the Ravens, not only to get a key victory over one of their key divisional rivals, but to get them to 10-7, which is a very viable record for the playoffs, and it's going to be up to the rest of the AFC to tell whether they make it into the playoffs or not.
Nick, you're right on the head with that one, and I want you guys to follow along as we continue on with this series. We're going to go division by division, obviously with the AFC North right now, but wait until the end when you get to see the playoff picture based on our predictions. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.